The movie begins with a gripping sequence. Armed men aboard shout their battle cries, prepared for combat. It's 1979, a tumultuous time as Ethiopia grapples with a refugee crisis amidst a brutal conflict between the government and rebels. Chaos reigns as armed men storm a hut, firing mercilessly, while a nearby Ethiopian Jewish settlement falls under siege. Death and displacement are rampant. In one such settlement, a young girl frantically tells her mother she's searched everywhere for her missing brother. Her mother suggests checking the fields, even as the threat of danger looms closer. Meanwhile, the boy, Tesfa, blissfully unaware, plays nearby, mimicking an airplane and dodging dried crops. Moments later, the roar of trucks signals imminent danger. Dust clouds rise as a man named Kebede Bimro urges villagers to move swiftly before they're discovered. Tesfa's mother hesitates, torn about leaving her son, but is forced to flee. Elsewhere, Mossad agent Ari Levinson does push-ups on the back of a truck while Sami Navin sits on its hood. The duo awaits asylum seekers in this tense operation. Kebede soon emerges from the bushes with villagers, but just as he informs Ari of a child left behind, gunfire erupts. Ari wastes no time, rushing off to save Tesfa. The boy, frozen in fear, becomes a target as trucks barrel through the fields. Ari intercepts just in time, grabbing Tesfa and dodging gunfire. The rebels, thrown off by Ari's bold maneuvers, leave their vehicles to pursue him on foot. Using his training, Ari outsmarts the rebels, slipping away and commandeering one of their trucks. They chase the runaway vehicle only for it to crash into a hut. When one rebel inspects the wreck, he finds nothing but the decoy box. Meanwhile, Ari and Tesfa escape to safety, reuniting with the others as the sun sets. The group's journey isn't over yet. They trek through the unforgiving desert and brave a river crossing reminiscent of Moses' biblical Exodus. Unlike the parted waters of legend, this crossing claims a life despite Sami's valiant efforts to save a drowning woman. Later, as Ari Levinson and his team arrive at the Jedarif refugee camp in Sudan, Kebede Bimro knocks on a door and is welcomed by an acquaintance who helps distribute food to the starving refugees. Under the cover of darkness, Ari and Sami prepare to leave, but their escape is cut short when local militias storm the camp. The agents, along with Kebede, are arrested on suspicion of smuggling. In a dimly lit prison, Ari remains unfazed, doing pull-ups while his cellmates watch in silence. Later, Kebede explains that the militia believes they're involved in illegal activities. Fortunately, the trio is released, thanks to Walton Bowen, a CIA agent masquerading as a cultural attaché at the U.S. Embassy in Khartoum. However, the Mossad mission faces a major setback. Orders arrive to pull the agents out of Sudan. Back in Israel, Ari and Sami land at Ben Gurion Airport. As they exit, Sami drops a bombshell. He's done with dangerous missions. Ari tries to convince him otherwise, but Sami remains resolute, bidding his friend a heartfelt farewell before driving off in another car. At Mossad headquarters, tensions rise as news of a peace treaty signing between Egypt and Israel plays on the television. Ari barges into his boss Ethan Levin's office, determined to keep the mission alive. Ethan, however, informs him that the operation is being aborted, citing the risks involved. Frustrated, Ari returns to his empty home late at night. As he listens to a voicemail from his wife Sarah, he learns that she's left their daughter with her parents and dropped off some documents for him to sign. Alone and undeterred, Ari pores over maps and files, formulating a daring new plan to rescue Ethiopian Jews from Sudan. At the break of dawn, Ari rushes to Ethan's house, waking him up to pitch the new strategy. The following day, Ethan warns Ari to tread carefully when presenting his idea to Mossad chief Barak Isaacs. In the tense meeting, Ari outlines his plan: extracting Ethiopian Jews by sea, bypassing Ethiopia's landlocked geography. He explains that many refugees are already in Sudan, which offers access to the ocean. Barak, skeptical but intrigued, hears Ari out. The audacious plan involves posing as owners of a diving resort, using it as a front to smuggle refugees out. With no better options, the Mossad leadership reluctantly gives the green light. The mission escalates when the defense minister of Israel joins the planning session. Though skeptical of Ari Levinson's bold proposal, the room reluctantly agrees it could work. With the defense minister's blessing, the operation gets the green light. Ari wastes no time assembling his team. First, he recruits Rachel Reiter, a flight attendant who eagerly signs on. Next, he tracks down Jake in Belize and pitches the mission. In Amsterdam, Ari surprises Max, fresh from an assassination job, convincing him to join the crew. Finally, he persuades Sammy to come back on board, finding him at his clinic. After a mission briefing with Ethan Levin, the team heads to Sudan. However, trouble arises immediately as Jake is detained by airport immigration. Ari tells Rachel to stick to the plan while Jake explains that he was extorted for a bribe. The team brushes off the hiccup and moves forward. Meanwhile, at the U.S. Embassy, Walton Bowen digs into a company linked to their operation, setting up another layer of intrigue. Ari and Rachel proceed to Sudan's Ministry of Tourism to solidify the legitimacy of their cover, a diving resort. There, they meet Colonel Madibo, the head of tourism. The colonel explains that Sudan's president values tourism for the country's economic growth, but demands a hefty $500,000 annual fee, double the agreed-upon $250,000. Surprised but composed, Ari negotiates. Ari counters with an offer of $350,000, suggesting they record $250,000 officially while keeping the rest as a personal contribution for Sudan's people. The colonel laughs, pleased with the arrangement, and agrees. The team then arrives at their base of operations, the Red Sea Diving Resort. The place is far from the luxury they'd envisioned, with run-down buildings and a dusty environment. Undeterred, the team gets to work cleaning and transforming the site, setting the stage for the daring operation ahead. As the team settles into their mission, they meet with the local staff and establish their cover. Under the cover of darkness, Kabedi informs Ari of a dire new threat. Abdul Ahmed, a ruthless Mukhabarat tribe commander, is aggressively hunting down escaping refugees. With food shortages worsening and danger mounting, the stakes couldn't be higher. The team convenes on a boat to plan their first extraction, deciding it will take place on the darkest Friday of the month, 2 weeks away. Sammy suggests a dry run to prepare, but Ari dismisses the idea, emphasizing the need for everyone to focus on their roles. Meanwhile, 12 miles off Sudan's coast, the Israeli Navy ship Waverly waits for radio contact from the team. Jake successfully sets up communication equipment, and everything seems ready for the first exfiltration. However, an unexpected twist occurs when a group of tourists arrives at the resort. Panic spreads among the team as they fear their cover might be blown. Calm and composed, Ari instructs everyone to act naturally and check the tourists in, insisting they must fake it until they make it. The team scrambles to make the hotel operational, understanding this was always a possibility. Despite the obstacles, the team finally sets out on the planned night. Back at Mossad headquarters, Ethan and the chief closely monitor the operation. Ari's group arrives at the rendezvous point but initially finds no one, dampening morale. However, Ari's optimism prevails, and soon Kabedi emerges from the rocky hills, leading a group of Ethiopian Jews. As refugees fill the 2 large trucks, a platoon of Israeli Navy SEALs departs from the Waverly to assist. On their way back, Ari's convoy encounters a Sudanese checkpoint. Thinking quickly, Ari accelerates, crashing through the roadblock before the soldiers can react. In the chaos, he rams parked military vehicles to disable any pursuit. Under covering fire from the Navy SEALs, the team successfully loads the refugees onto boats. As the last boat departs, Ari and his team realize they've saved 174 people, a remarkable accomplishment and a testament to their courage and determination. The scene opens as boats arrive at Waverly. The ship captain radios the headquarters, announcing that the cargo is safely en route home. Cheers of relief and joy erupt as the team celebrates the mission's success. The next morning, Ari wakes to a serene sight, Max leading a Tai Chi class under the morning sun. The fake hotel hums with life, with everyone playing their part to perfection. Ari and Jake set out for a casual driving tour to a nearby shipwreck, but their plans are abruptly interrupted by the unexpected arrival of Colonel Abdul Hamid. The colonel informs them about a suspected incident from the previous night and inspects their trucks for bullet holes. Despite the checkpoint guards' claims of hitting their vehicles, no evidence is found and the colonel leaves. The tension dissipates, but not for long. Soon, a group of German tourists arrives at the resort, offering perfect cover for the covert operations. Their presence shifts suspicion away from the team. As one group of tourists departs, others follow, ensuring the team can continue their missions unnoticed. By September 1980, after 6 successful missions, The team has rescued approximately 1,830 refugees. By August 1981, the number surpasses 3,000 African Jews. However, the growing number of escapees infuriates the Sudanese administration. In retaliation, Colonel Abdul Hamid orders mass killings in a desperate bid to uncover those aiding the refugees. Back at the resort, Walton pulls Ari aside with a grim warning. He explains that Sudan profits from housing refugees, and their disappearing numbers are triggering brutal massacres. The stakes grow even higher. Undeterred, the team embarks on another mission. Despite Ari's warnings of imminent danger, Kebede insists on proceeding. As refugees board the boats, Max spots military jeeps closing in. Chaos erupts as the Sudanese military opens fire. A Navy SEAL is hit, and Sammy swiftly orders first aid. Max dives for cover as gunfire intensifies. Back at headquarters, the Mossad team anxiously monitors the escalating situation. In a desperate move, Ari attempts to deceive the military, but the team is arrested and imprisoned on smuggling charges. Meanwhile, Colonel Abdul Hamid tracks down Kebede's hideout, raising the stakes for everyone involved. The next morning, Sammy erupts in fury, confronting Ari for being caught in a precarious situation and for ignoring his warnings that could have saved them multiple times. Rachel, however, devises a plan and reaches out to Colonel Madiba for assistance. Soon after, Ari and Sammy are freed from prison. Back at the resort, they're greeted by Ethan, who delivers grim news. It's time to pull the plug. As tensions mount, the team stumbles upon an injured Kebede. He was spared, thanks to a friend's bribe to the guards. With their options running out, Ari reluctantly informs Kebede that they have one final mission ahead of them. Meanwhile, a soldier stumbles upon the hidden refugees, forcing Rachel to take drastic action. She kills him to protect their secret. Back at the hotel, Colonel Abdul Hamid is making a scene, but the team remains focused. The next day, Ari reaches out to their American allies for help with the escape. They agree to assist. Later that night, the team, along with the refugees, sneaks out of the hotel. As they make their way to safety, Colonel Abdul learns of their escape and races to stop them. In a tense moment, Ari and the others arrive at an old British airfield, where a plane is waiting. Just as Colonel Abdul closes in, a large plane flies overhead, spurring the colonel to hurry, fearing the escapees are about to flee. The plane lands, and the refugees begin boarding. The movie reaches its pulse-pounding climax as Colonel Abdul arrives just in time to see the plane take off. He fires a few shots, but it's too late. Nothing substantial is hit. The plane narrowly avoids crashing into a tree on the runway before finally taking off, escaping to safety. The film ends with the refugees safely arriving in Israel, free at last. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, share your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe to our channel for more great content. Thank you for watching.